It's my DVD and Blu-ray update for March 2025. Ahoy everybody, and welcome to another DVD and Blu-ray update. So this is everything I've watched in the month or so since my last update. Fair bit I've got through, thankfully. I'll just crack straight on. So I've mentioned in at least the last set of videos, if not the one before that, Go Faster Stripe, the Wales-based comedy label, had a sale where they were basically, because nobody buys physical media anymore, allegedly, but where their sales of their DVDs have gone right down because people stream them nowadays. They were selling off a load of their old stock for a couple of quid, £2 or £3, and I basically picked up anything I didn't already have, and there's a couple more of those in here. So this is Andrew Collins' Secret Dancing, the farewell performance live in Cardiff. So Andrew Collins, the journalist, radio presenter, used to work with Stuart McConey, used to work with Richard Herring, which he was working with Richard around this time. Dabbled with a stand-up set. Literally just did one show that he did in Edinburgh and then a couple of gigs in, I think, London and Cardiff. And this is recording the one in Cardiff. It was better than I thought it was going to be, actually. It was proper funny at times. His style wasn't too bad. It wasn't too stilted for somebody who's relatively new to stand-up. Yeah, I enjoyed it a fair bit. Some decent extras on here. Richard Herring features on the extras a fair bit as well, which is a bonus for me. But yeah, that was good. We have the complete 5th series of Mortimer and Whitehouse Gone Fishing. So, love this series. Spoken about it many times, or at least four previous times. Another great series. Richard Herring appears in this series as well, talking about his testicular cancer. But yeah, excellent as ever. Another Go Faster Stripe release. This is Will Hodgson, A Hatful of Hodgson. So this is what I was in the middle of watching when I recorded the last DVD and Blu-ray update. So this is a 2-disc set. So I spoke about Will on that video. I've enjoyed his style, his comedy. He's funny, but he's very laconic. He's basically just quite rambly, telling stories, but yeah, very entertaining, although rarely actually laugh out loud funny. And this has got 2 or 3 shows on it, plus loads of extras, and it's very good as well. We have Gig Economy by Christian Riley. So I knew Christian because he used to appear on Richard Herring's internet sketch show, As It Occurs to Me. Each week he would perform a topical song, or fairly topical song. This is his stand-up. Very good. Some good songs. Some of it works better than others for me, but he's got a likeable stage presence, and again, some good extras on here. This is An Hour and Some of Tony Law. I find Tony Law very entertaining. I really enjoy watching him. He is very funny. He's one of those stand-ups who you watch and you think he's pretty much making it up as he goes along, but then he manages to tie it all nicely at the end, or, it becomes apparent that actually it is all pretty much scripted. Not, 100% of it, but most of it. And it's just jokes, basically. Not not one-liners, but it's just him being funny. There's no message behind it or anything like that. Very enjoyable, and again, some reasonable extras on here, not as many as on his first one. This is Wurzel Gummidge, the complete second series, I think it was classed as. Although there were really 4 standalone episodes that were broadcast over a while. So this is for Mackenzie Crook, Wurzel Gummidge. I absolutely love this series. I adore this series. I think it's one of the greatest things that's been on television. It's just so beautifully done. So well written, so well performed, so well directed by Mackenzie and shot. Yeah, absolutely love it. This is the Young Ones, a complete collection, 40th anniversary edition. So I have the original 2 BBC Young Ones DVDs, but wanted to upgrade to this when I could. So this is all the episodes remastered onto DVD with loads and loads of extras, some of which are from a previous special edition and some are new for this. There's commentaries. Yeah, it's all really, really good. Love the show. The extras are brilliant, or a lot of them are anyway. The only sort of gripe is that of the regular cut, obviously Rick Mail can contribute because we've sadly lost him, but there's no contributions from Aid Edmondson on any of it, or Christopher Ryan. The only regular cast members who appear are Alexi Sale and Nigel Planer. But that's my only sort of criticism of it, but they obviously would have been invited and decided not to for whatever reason. But yeah, really good stuff. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So I liked the first Black Panther a lot. I didn't love it. This was obviously made in tricky circumstances because sadly Chadwick Boseman lost his battle with cancer before this was shot. I feel it's dealt with really well in this. They don't, you know, the Black Panther character he played dies in it from an illness they couldn't cure. They don't try and brush over the fact that he's gone, and it's all dealt with, as they dealt with really well. I enjoyed it a lot. Again, probably more or less on a par with the first one. Yeah, good. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Again, loved the first Ant-Man. Really enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. This one, again, it's not quite as good as those two, but there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just got storylines just not quite up there with it. But that said, it held my attention throughout, and I never thought, God, this is rubbish or anything like that. I enjoyed it a good amount. It's just not quite as good as the first two. So on the last one, I showed a lot of Morecambe and Wise. The last thing I had left to show and watch was Morecambe and Wise for Lost Tapes. So these are previously thought lost episodes that have been recovered, plus radio or audio versions of some, loads of extras, snippets that have been either deleted from episodes or interviews, or things like that. Some really good stuff on here. Yeah, if you're collecting Morecambe and Wise, you need this. This is Desperately Seeking Susan. It's a nice little box. So you got the Blu-ray, a double-sided poster. So you've got that artwork and the more iconic artwork of Madonna and Rosanna Arquette, and then a nice little booklet about the film. It's a really enjoyable film. So Madonna plays Susan, who is a bit of a rebel, gets involved with wrong people, steals from people. She's in a on and off relationship with a guy, and they communicate through personal ads in newspapers. Desperately Seeking Susan. Rosanna Arquette's character, who's a bored housewife, basically becomes infatuated with their story from following them in the small ads, realises they're going to meet locally, and decides to stalk them, basically find out what's going on. in the process of which she gets in an accident and bumps her head, and she gets complete amnesia, and she believes she is Susan, and it's the story of, therefore, them finding each other, sorting it all out, etc. There's stolen jewels and stuff like that involved as well. But yeah, really well done, really well acted by everyone involved. Good film. This is Little Birds, which, despite being an ITV Studios DVD release, was actually a Sky One series, I believe. So this is based in the 1950s, 1955 in Tangier in Morocco. And Juno Temple's character is a troubled teenager from America who gets married off to a British bumbling closet homosexual in Tangier. And it's the story of basically their time there, getting involved with a dominatrix prostitute, chanteuse stroke filmmaker, internationally famous, the Egyptian and Moroccan, an Egyptian gay guy, the French police or French military who are occupying Tangier. It's all very twisty-turny. It's really well done. I really enjoyed it. That's Little Birds. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So this is the second of the animated Spider-Man films. Loved the first one. This one, enjoyed almost as much. Didn't quite grab me the same way the first one did. Probably just because it wasn't so new and fresh. But yeah, really well done. The way they show so many versions of the character was really nice. I think my biggest gripe for it is the ending, because it leaves on a major cliffhanger ready for the next film, which obviously is fine, but it's frustrating. But yeah, excellent. Black Adam. Yeah, it was alright. Perfectly well acted, and storyline was good. Just lacked a certain something. But overall, I think I rated it 4 out of 5, I think, maybe 3.5. But, you know, it's very good, but it's not brilliant. We have Elvis, Baz Luhrmann's film about Elvis Presley. I like Baz Luhrmann. I was sort of indifferent to this when I heard about it. I picked up the soundtrack album on vinyl cheap and enjoyed that. So that sort of decided me that, yeah, get it. So I did, start of last year, I think it was, and I finally reached it in my to-watch pile. Brilliant performance by Austin Butler. There are times when you'd think it was Elvis that you were watching. Tom Hanks, some may know I am not a fan of Tom Hanks. I know that is sacrilege for so many people, but I don't rate him as an actor. I really don't like watching him. However, in this, he was tolerable for me. As I say, most people love him for some reason, but I just don't get it, personally. But yeah, really enjoyable film. There's some bits of it where things that happened at the same time, I don't know for certain, but almost. So I'm not convinced that they were in the middle of shooting the comeback special when RFK was assassinated. I might be wrong. It just seemed too neat that they sort of came together at the same time. You know, things like that. But yeah, enjoyed it a lot. It's long, though. It is long. So this was very kindly sent to me by Rory after I disclosed that I'd never seen The Inbetweeners. Finally reached it in my to-watch pile. Did really enjoy it. When you sat on your own watching a comedy show, it has to be really funny to make you laugh out loud. You know, laughter is really a shared experience. This quite regularly made me laugh out loud. Not throughout, but normally one or two lines in each episode or happenings in each episode would make me laugh out loud, which is amazing, really. Yeah, just really enjoyed it. I've ordered the two films. Number two's arrived before number one, but I'll obviously watch them in the correct order. Watch this front to back, listen to all the commentaries, watch all the special features, because they're such an entertaining bunch of guys. But yeah, very, very good. This is The Flash. So I went into this really wanting to see it because of Michael Keaton's Batman, but having heard quite bad things about it. I would say overall I really enjoyed it. It sort of, you know, gains a star just for having Michael Keaton as Batman in it. I liked all the references to alternate Batman and Superman and what have you. I thought Supergirl was excellent in it. My gripe with it, this is nothing to do with anything that's happened in real life, but I don't think the Flash, Barry Adams, is a likeable enough character to lead a film. He is too annoying, basically. I sort of liked the way that, this isn't a major spoiler because it's in the trailers, but when Barry Adam met his alternate self, he could see how annoying he was, and he sort of matured. Barry Adam sort of matured as a result of that, and became less annoying, but we still had an annoying Barry Adam. I hope I've remembered his name correct. But we still had an annoying version of the character around as well, which didn't make it any easier. But yeah, other than that, my biggest gripe with the film, some of the CGI was terrible, particularly the scene with the babies and the dog. If you've seen the film, you know the scene I refer to, and I presume you agree because they were terrible. Also, some of the CGI likenesses of the characters were in the time bubble-y type thing, were very dodgy as well. But yeah, those are sort of my biggest gripes and sort of knock it down a bit for me. But by and large, enjoyed it a lot, and the ending made me laugh. This is No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence. I got this because it's got Jennifer Lawrence in it, and she gets her kit off in it. And I think she's a brilliant actress. This is basically just a typical rom-com with a bit of a twist. So she is 32. She works as an Uber driver. Her car is repossessed because she's not paid her tax bills. She's living in a house that was left to her by her mother, who died when she was younger. She can't afford to keep up payments on the house, or her tax payments at least on the house. Because her car's repossessed, she can't earn the money to pay off the tax, and so on and so forth. So desperate for money, she sees an advert. She lives in this seaside resort. I can't remember exactly where in the US. But every summer is invaded by posh families to go yachting and what have you. And she sees an advert from one of these families wanting to hire somebody to date their son because they're worried about him because he's got no friends and he just sets himself in his room all the time. She is the only applicant, even though she's older than they requested. And basically it's about them dating and her trying to date him. And how that transpires. But yeah, it's just, plot-wise, it's, you know, fairly simple rom-com, and it pretty much goes where you would expect it to. But it's just, the performances make it work for me. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. This is season 1 of House of the Dragon, so I did watch this when it aired. I was illegally downloading it to watch it, not having anything on my telly that makes me able to watch it legally. I enjoyed it. I don't like it as much as I like Game of Thrones, but I still like it a lot. On rewatch, it was just, didn't improve it, didn't make it worse. I don't like the way we have the sudden time jump halfway through this series. I think we needed longer with the younger versions of the characters, just because I think the 2 actresses who played them were magnificent. But otherwise, yeah, it's much like Game of Thrones. Some episodes it's a bit too much politicking and not enough action, but otherwise, really good. This is Promising Young Woman. So Carey Mulligan stars as a young lady whose best friend is raped at medical college and kills herself, and ever since she's been trying to educate men, basically. So she acts drunk in a bar, gets picked up. When she gets taken back to the guy's house and he tries to have sex with her, even though she is apparently completely out of it, she suddenly switches and confronts them and makes them see the error of their ways. She then discovers that the guy who raped her best friend is back in town, and she's out for revenge on him. At the same time, she starts dating an old friend from medical college. And it's about their relationship as well. But yeah, really good film, really well acted. Enjoyed that a lot. Another Tony Law. This is Maximum Nonsense. Just think, the previous Tony Law I mentioned, I've just realised that was actually the first Tony Law that I watched. As regards this series of videos. That was the one with a decent amount of extras, including Richard Herring on one of them. This one, just as good. The actual stand-up set is just as good and just as funny. But the extras aren't as good on this one. But yeah, just more Tony Law nonsense. And the final Go Faster Stripe, I think possibly the last one in my to-watch pile at the moment, is Robin Ince is As Dumb as You. So I showed a Robin Ince in my last set of last update. This one I enjoyed more because it was more straightforward stand-up. It didn't have the scientific leanings that the other one did. You didn't need to know that much about science to be able to watch this and enjoy this. This is more just your normal stand-up observational stuff, but still very clever. Yeah, so I enjoyed this more. And again, some really good extras on there as well. 2 more. We have Doctor Who, The Power of the Doctor. So this was Jodie's last episode, which I really enjoyed. So when I watched it when it aired, my thoughts of it were the first 20 minutes or so were really muddled and confusing and typical Chris Chibnall, badly plotted, badly scripted stuff. But then from then on, it was wonderful. I echo that. Basically, I would say exactly the same, having rewatched it. So overall, really good episode, but the first 20 minutes or so show the faults in Jodie's series. None of which, as far as I'm concerned, are Jodie's faults. She's just given shit dialogue to try and convey. And as I've said before, Chris Chibnall likes to, instead of showing rather than telling, he'll show and tell, so that you know what's happened, you've worked out why something's happened, but then he has the Doctor spout a 5-minute monologue as to what's happened, using a load of techno jargon that you don't need. But yeah, as I say, this actual episode, the appearances of other Doctors, old companions, all that sort of stuff. Really enjoyed. And then the regeneration at the end into a previously recognisable Doctor. Nice commentary on this with Chibnall and Jodie and Mandip Gill. Enjoyed listening to that, and some reasonable extras on that as well. And Matilda the musical. So, never seen the original Matilda film. Don't think I ever read the book. I think it came out after I stopped reading Roald Dahl's children's books, you know, when I got too old for them, basically. But I've never seen the Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman film. I saw the musical on stage, being a big fan of Tim Minchin, who writes the music for this. I wanted to see it, really enjoyed it. Have the cast soundtrack, also have the film soundtrack, both on CD. So I was looking forward to finally seeing this, and I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. It's just really enjoyable. If you know the story, you know the story. I believe there's not much difference in the story between the standard film and the musical. There might be a bit, but great songs, greatly performed, greatly acted. Yeah, just really, really enjoyed Matilda the musical. There you go. So that's me up to date again. Hopefully I'll be able to stick on and get another one done next month. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.